You're watching Sun TV, broadcasting to the world from studios in Providenciales, in the beautiful binational Turks and Caicos Islands. Sun TV, your source for real news as it happens.
I'm Tadleen Dafferlin, and thanks for watching this edition of Sun TV News. Former Premier Michael Misick has secured the services of one of the top lawyers in the United Kingdom to represent him in the upcoming corruption trials. Misick's lawyer, who is Queen's Counsel Courtenay Griffiths, who is known for his defense in a number of high-profile cases, including the case of Charles Taylor, the former president of Liberia, the Harrods bombing, and a well-known case of Goswell against the UK Commissioner of Police, which recorded the highest award of damages made by a jury against a police force. The 59-year-old Griffiths, who was born in Jamaica, is currently in the Turks and Caicos Islands with his junior attorney Mitchell Nelson, meeting with the former premier and making certain legal applications on his behalf. In an exclusive interview with Sun TV from Misick's penthouse in Grace Bay, the UK lawyer said he is pleased to take on the task of representing the former premier. Here's what he had to say.
I was instructed a couple of weeks ago to represent Michael Misick, the former Premier of these islands. And it was a pleasure to take on that particular task. And I'm looking forward to representing Mr. Misick at the forthcoming trial. I think it is important that there be some kind of, and I use the word advisedly, democratic resolution of a problem which has plagued these islands for some time since the old commission was set up so many years ago. And I think it's time that a line be drawn under this whole episode.
Griffiths, who said he knew the former premier from when he was in law school in England, revealed to Sun TV that he has applied to the High Court for more time to prepare the defense for Misick, who was extradited from Brazil in January this year. He explained why he needs more time.
Most of the defendants in these proceedings have had several years in which to prepare for trial. And of course, everyone is aware that the SIPT have been on the ground for some 4 years now, and they've had that extended period in which to put their case together. Effectively, we've to date only had a couple of weeks, and it will require an incredible effort on our part to get up to speed to be in a position that the prosecution and the other defendants in the proceedings already are.
The prominent UK lawyer said it is difficult to see how Helen Garlick and her prosecution team, which is headed by Andrew Mitchell, QC, can proceed with trials in July. He also revealed that various legal applications can be made on Misick's behalf, but did not go into details.
Everybody, of course, is anxious to get on with the trial, and we're as anxious as anybody else, but realistically, it's difficult to see how we would be in a position to proceed to trial in July, given the limited time we've had to prepare to date. I'd rather not talk about the details of the proceedings at this stage, and there are various applications, of course, which will have to be made prior to the commencement of the proceedings. But no finalized decision has been arrived at yet. So consequently, I think it would be foolhardy of us to be discussing those matters at this stage.
Griffiths, who is highly respected in the UK and across the Caribbean and around the world, and who became a Queen's Counsel in 1998, gave Sun TV a brief look into his background.
Yeah, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and I emigrated with my family to the United Kingdom in 1961. And I come from what was then and still is quite a tough part of Kingston, Jamaica, Kingston 13. And I come from an extremely large family of 8 boys and 1 girl. And we moved to the United Kingdom in October 1961 and settled in Coventry in the Midlands. And happily for me, I won a scholarship to go to the best boys' school in the city. And from there went on to the London School of Economics, where I did a law degree, and was called to the bar in the United Kingdom in 1980. So I've been practicing for some 34 years now at the Bar of England and Wales.
Sun TV asked Griffiths about the experience of representing warlord Charles Taylor. He said many people felt he should not have represented the former Liberian leader, but he added that it was an eye-opener.
Surprised you say that I had the distinction, but because many people would disagree with you, that in fact, you know, I should never have represented this so-called warlord. But I had a wonderful experience in representing Charles Taylor, and it opened my eyes to the power politics which underlie international criminal justice as it's currently practiced, not only in The Hague with the ICC, but in other places such as the Special Court for Sierra Leone, where Charles Taylor was tried, and indeed the Rwanda Tribunal in Arusha in Tanzania. That power and politics underlie much of the way in which international criminal justice is currently practiced, and that was an eye-opener for me.
Griffiths added that it is hard to imagine that politics can be divorced from certain criminal trials.
It's difficult to escape the idea that politics is completely divorced from criminal proceedings in whichever jurisdiction one practices. And so it wouldn't surprise me, given the origins of this investigation, if politics played some role in the way in which the proceedings in due course progress.
He also gave us a summary of some of his other high-profile cases, including a significant case which he just completed in England. However, he said coming back to the Caribbean to do a high-profile case such as this one for Michael Misick is like a homecoming.
I've been fortunate in that over the 3 decades or so that I've been practicing in the United Kingdom, I've had the privilege of appearing in a number of high-profile cases involving, for example, the Irish Republican Army's bombing of a hotel in Brighton, which almost killed the then British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. I was also involved in the Harrods bombing and a number of other terrorist-type cases of that kind, and also a number of high-profile murder trials over the years. And more recently, my practice has taken me as far as South Africa, where I've represented a very senior judge in South Africa in autumn last year. So for me, coming back to the Caribbean, having left over 50 years ago to do a case in the Caribbean, it's like a homecoming at one level, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've done cases in Bermuda, but this is well, Bermuda is more in the Atlantic than in the Caribbean, but this is the first case that I've done in the Caribbean. My junior, Miss Nelson, and I had just completed a very serious trial in the United Kingdom. It involved the murder of a policeman during a race riot on a council estate in North London, Tottenham, 28 years ago. Now, the first trial of 6 young men resulted in convictions of 3 of those men. Those convictions were later overturned in 1991 when it was discovered that the most senior officer in the case, Detective Chief Superintendent Melvin, had literally fabricated an alleged confession made by one of the 3 men. And as a result, those 3 convictions were overturned. Thereafter, there were further investigations by the Metropolitan Police, which resulted in a man being charged in July of last year, 28 years after the event, with the murder of that police constable. And happily, and we think it was the right result, he was acquitted of that charge, I think it's about 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's our Sun TV News Brief for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you real news as it happens directly to your computer, mobile device, or smartphone. If you know anyone living overseas who would like to keep up with what is happening in the Turks and Caicos Islands, get them to email us at sun@suntci.com so we can add them to our mailing list to get Sun TV news. Thanks for watching. I'm Toddleen Defferlin.